A man walks into a crowded restaurant wearing old clothes. He waits for almost an hour. Nobody serves him. Nobody even looks at him. What they don't know is that this man owns the entire restaurant chain. And what happens next will shock everyone in that room. 15 years ago, Marcus Chen opened a small restaurant in Los Angeles. It had only 8 tables and a tiny kitchen. He called it the Harvest Table. Marcus never put his name on the building. He didn't want fame. He just wanted to create a place where everyone felt welcome. The restaurant grew slowly. 1 location became 5. 5 became 20. 20 became 35 restaurants across California. But as the company grew, Marcus stayed in the background. He trusted his managers to run things while he focused on other projects. Most employees had never met him. They knew someone owned all these restaurants, but they had no idea who. It was a Monday afternoon when Marcus decided to visit the Santa Monica restaurant. This was his first location, the one he cared about most. He wanted to see how things were going. He looked at himself in the car mirror. He wore an old jacket with a small tear on the sleeve. His jeans were faded. His shoes were comfortable but worn out. He pulled a baseball cap low over his face. Marcus walked to the restaurant and pushed open the glass doors. The place was packed. Families eating lunch. Couples on dates. Business people having meetings. The noise of conversations filled the air. Near the entrance, about 15 people were waiting for tables. A family with 2 kids in soccer uniforms. A man in a construction vest. A young couple checking their phones. Behind the front desk stood a young woman named Ashley. She was looking at her phone, typing fast, not paying attention to anyone. "Excuse me," Marcus said politely. "Table for 1, please." Ashley didn't look up. "We're busy. You'll have to wait over there." She pointed toward the crowded waiting area. "How long will it be?" Marcus asked. "Don't know. Just wait," she said, still staring at her phone. Marcus nodded and found a spot against the wall. He pretended to check his phone, but watched everything carefully. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. The family with the soccer kids looked tired. The construction worker checked his watch again and again. Then the door opened. A couple walked in. The woman wore expensive clothes and carried a designer purse. The man had a fancy watch that sparkled under the lights. Ashley's head snapped up immediately. "Good afternoon. Welcome." Her voice suddenly became warm and friendly. "Table for 2? Let me see what I can do." She made a quick phone call and tapped her screen. Within 3 minutes, she was leading the fancy couple into the restaurant. They walked past everyone who had been waiting much longer. The mother with the soccer kids stared in disbelief. "We've been here longer than them," she whispered to her husband. Marcus felt his chest tighten, but he stayed quiet. He wasn't here to make a scene. Not yet. He needed to understand what was happening. After 15 minutes of waiting, the construction worker gave up. He shook his head and walked out. Nobody from the staff even noticed. This pattern kept repeating. Well-dressed people arrived and got seated quickly. Everyone else kept waiting. After 25 minutes, a server finally called Marcus. Her name was Sarah. She looked annoyed. "How many?" she asked. "Just 1, Marcus said. Sarah sighed. "Follow me." She led him past the nice window tables where rich-looking customers ate their meals. She led him past the comfortable booths in the middle. She took him all the way to the back corner, right next to the kitchen doors. Marcus knew this spot. Every restaurant had one. The worst table. The place where they put customers they hoped would eat fast and leave. Every time the kitchen doors opened, hot air and loud noises blasted out. Sarah dropped a menu on the table. "Your server will come soon." Then she walked away without another word. Marcus sat down and waited. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Then 15. Servers walked right past his table. One looked at him and kept walking. Another acted like he wasn't even there. The kitchen doors kept swinging open, bringing waves of heat and the sound of clanging pots. After 40 minutes, he finally caught Sarah's attention as she walked by. "Excuse me, could I get some water?" he asked politely. "I'll be right there," she said without stopping. She never came back. Marcus looked around the restaurant. He saw a young mother trying to get help while her baby cried. Nobody stopped. He saw an old couple with empty water glasses, waiting patiently. Nobody helped them either. But a table of businessmen near the bar? They had everything. A tall manager with slicked back hair was pouring them expensive wine, laughing at their jokes, treating them like kings. The manager's name tag said Derek Stone. Derek turned and looked right at Marcus. Their eyes met across the room. For a moment, Marcus thought the manager might come over and apologize. Instead, Derek looked away. He went to the bar and started chatting with another worker about weekend plans. The customer in the corner simply didn't exist to him. That's when something changed inside Marcus. He had built this restaurant on one simple belief: every customer matters. It didn't matter what they wore. It didn't matter how much money they had. Everyone deserved respect. Somewhere along the way, that belief had been forgotten. After 50 minutes of sitting there, Marcus closed his menu. He stood up slowly and walked out. He wanted to confront Derek right then and there. He wanted to see the shock on his face. But he stopped himself. If this was happening at his first restaurant, how many other locations had the same problem? Marcus walked to his car and sat in the driver's seat. He pulled out his phone and typed a note. Visit other restaurants. Don't tell anyone who I am. That night, Marcus didn't go home. He parked near the restaurant and opened his laptop. As the owner, he had access to all the company data. He looked at customer reviews for the Santa Monica location. The public rating was 4.3 out of 5 stars. Pretty good. But then Marcus clicked on a different section. He found reviews that had been hidden. Reviews that customers had written but nobody ever saw. Waited 30 minutes. Nobody took my order. Left hungry and angry. The staff ignored us completely. They only care about rich people. I gave this place 3 chances. Never coming back. Dozens of complaints. Maybe hundreds. All hidden away where nobody would see them. Marcus checked other locations. Same thing. High public ratings, but tons of hidden complaints. Someone was hiding the truth. His heart pounded. This wasn't just a few bad employees. This was bigger. Tomorrow, he would visit another restaurant. And another. He needed to see how far this problem went. The next day, Marcus visited another restaurant in Pasadena. Same disguise. Same old clothes. Same results. A server named Lisa greeted him nicely at first. But then Marcus watched her spend 15 minutes with a rich-looking couple while ignoring an old man who needed help. A customer got so angry that he stood up and yelled, "Is this how you treat people? I've been waiting 25 minutes." The manager came out. His name was Tom. But instead of apologizing, Tom just tried to make the angry customer leave quietly. After the customer left, Marcus heard Tom say to a worker, "Customers like that aren't worth our time anyway." Marcus felt sick to his stomach. He visited a third restaurant that night. It was small, only 12 tables. A young server named Jenny was working late. Marcus sat at the counter. Jenny brought him water without being asked. She was tired but still kind. "Quiet night?" Marcus asked. "Yeah, it usually is," Jenny said. Then she started talking. She seemed like she needed to tell someone. "A few months ago, a new manager came around," she said quietly. "He told us we need to focus on customers who will spend more money and tip better." He didn't say it exactly like that, but that's what he meant. Marcus listened carefully. "We're supposed to look at people and decide if they're worth our time," Jenny continued. "I hate it. I got into this job because I like helping people." Her voice cracked. "Last week, an old man came in. He wore old clothes and ordered the cheapest thing on the menu. Just soup and bread. My manager told me to focus on other tables instead." Tears filled Jenny's eyes. "When I finally went back to check on him, he was gone. But he left a $20 tip on a $7 meal. And he wrote on the receipt, 'Thank you for letting me sit somewhere warm.'" Jenny wiped her eyes. "I didn't even talk to him. I ignored him. And he still thanked me. I think about him every single day." Marcus couldn't speak. His throat felt tight. When he left, he put $50 on the counter as a tip. Jenny stared at the money in shock. The next morning, Marcus went to his company headquarters before anyone else arrived. He went to the computer room where all the data was stored. He logged in with his owner access code. This code let him see everything, even things that managers had hidden. Marcus found something shocking. Someone had created rules to hide bad reviews automatically. Rule 47. Remove reviews that say ignored, waited too long, rude, or never coming back. Rule 51. Hide reviews with ratings below 3 stars. Rule 63. Show only reviews from customers who spent more than $50. Marcus felt his hands shake. He checked who created these rules. Modified by D. Stone, Regional Manager. Approved by V. Morgan, VP of Operations. Derek Stone, the same manager who had ignored Marcus at the Santa Monica restaurant. And Victoria Morgan. Marcus had hired her 3 years ago. He had trusted her. He had even promoted her twice. Marcus opened the email system. He searched for messages between Derek and Victoria. He found dozens of emails from the past few months. One email from Derek to Victoria said, "The new training is working great. We're making 22% more money. The key is teaching staff to focus on high-value customers. Not every customer is worth the same effort." Victoria's reply, "Impressive results. I'm approving this for all your locations. Keep the review filtering quiet. No need to tell Marcus unless someone asks. He's busy with other things. No need to tell Marcus." His own VP had deliberately kept him in the dark. Marcus opened the training documents. The first page said, "Goal, make more money per table. Focus on wealthy customers." The second page showed pictures. It taught servers how to judge people by their clothes, their car, their watch, their shoes. It taught them to decide who was worth their time in 5 seconds. This wasn't a few bad employees making mistakes. This was official company policy. On Saturday night, Marcus drove back to the Santa Monica restaurant. This was the busiest night of the week. Every table would be full. He wore the same old jacket and cap. He walked through the doors at 6:45 p.m. Ashley was still at the front desk. "Table for one?" 45-minute wait. "Name?" "David," Marcus said. He waited against the wall and watched. The same pattern. Rich-looking people got seated fast. Everyone else waited. After 25 minutes, Ashley called his name. She led him to the same back corner by the kitchen. A young server named Chris finally came to his table after 20 minutes. Chris looked exhausted. "Can I ask you something?" Marcus said gently. "I guess," Chris said nervously. "Are you okay? You look really tired." Chris glanced toward the bar where Derek was standing. "Look, man, I have 8 other tables. My manager times everything we do. Especially on certain tables." "Certain tables?" Marcus asked. Chris realized he'd said too much. "Can I just take your order, please?" Marcus ordered a burger. Chris rushed away. After 45 minutes, Marcus had barely touched his food. He set down his fork, took a deep breath, and stood up. He walked to the center of the dining room. Conversations started to stop. People looked up. "Excuse me," Marcus said clearly. "I need to speak with the manager." Derek Stone walked over, smiling his professional smile. "Yes, sir? Is there a problem?" "Yes, there is," Marcus said calmly. "I've been a customer here 3 times this week. Each time, I was ignored and treated like I don't matter." The restaurant went silent. Everyone was listening now. "Sir, I'm sure there's been a misunderstanding," Derek said. "No misunderstanding," Marcus said. "I sat at a table for 50 minutes on Monday. No water. No service. You walked right past me and didn't care." Derek's face went pale. He looked at Marcus's old clothes. "Maybe we could talk in my office," Derek said quietly. "No," Marcus shook his head. "What happened here happened in front of your customers. They should hear this." Marcus turned to address the whole restaurant. "I've spent this week visiting different restaurants in this chain. I've seen the same thing everywhere. People being judged the moment they walk in. If you look rich, you get treated great. If you don't, you get ignored." Derek tried to interrupt. "Sir, I don't know who you think you are. Let me show you who I am." Marcus slowly removed his cap. Then he took off his old jacket. Underneath, he wore a black shirt with the original Harvest Table logo. The logo that only the founding team had. The logo that only the owner would have. "My name is Marcus Chen," he said clearly. "I founded this restaurant chain 15 years ago. I own every single location, including this one." Complete silence. Derek's face turned white. "And you just failed a test you didn't know you were taking." "Mr. Chen, I had no idea," Derek stammered. "Please let me explain." "Explain what?" Marcus asked quietly. "Explain the training program you created? The one that teaches servers to judge customers in 5 seconds? The one that tells them to ignore poor people? I was just trying to improve performance." Derek's voice shook. "Revenue went up 22%. The numbers worked. So you taught your staff to discriminate," Marcus said. "You taught them to treat some people like royalty and others like garbage. And you call that improvement?" Derek was desperate now. "It's how business works. You have to prioritize. Not every customer has the same value." Marcus let those words hang in the air. Not every customer has the same value. He turned to the watching crowd. That old man in work clothes who just wanted a quiet meal? According to Derek, he has less value. That young mother with her baby? Less value. That elderly couple? Less value. He looked back at Derek. "I opened this restaurant 15 years ago when I had nothing. I knew what it felt like to be judged. I promised myself that if I built something of my own, nobody would ever feel that way here. His voice was steady but filled with pain. You took that promise and destroyed it. For profit. Mr. Chun, please. Derek was crying now. Marcus raised his hand. Look around this room. These are the people you taught your staff to judge. These are human beings you turned into dollar signs. He paused. You're fired. Effective immediately. Derek nodded weakly and walked away, his head down. Marcus spoke to the entire restaurant. I apologize. For tonight, and for every time anyone was made to feel invisible here. That should never have happened. And I'll make sure it never happens again. By Monday morning, the video had gone viral. 12 million views. Headlines everywhere. Over the next 2 weeks, Marcus fired 9 managers who had used the same discriminatory system. He eliminated the training program completely. He removed the review filtering. Every review, good or bad, would now be visible. He called Victoria Morgan into the closed restaurant. They sat facing each other. I read all the emails, Marcus said. You approved everything. You kept me in the dark. Yes, Victoria said quietly. Why? Because the numbers worked, she said. The board wanted growth. Investors demanded results. I thought I was doing my job. By teaching people to discriminate, Victoria looked down. I'm a single mother with 2 kids and a mortgage. Every quarter, the board asks why we're not growing faster. When Derek showed me his results, I thought I'd found a solution. She looked up. I convinced myself the methods didn't matter as long as the numbers improved. Do you believe that now? Long silence. No, she whispered. I don't. Marcus pulled out a folder. These are the reviews your system hid. Real people. Real pain. Victoria read them, her hands shaking. Tears filled her eyes. What do you want me to do? She asked. Resign. No, Marcus said. I'm giving you a choice. You can leave today, no public blame. Or you can stay, but you start over. You'll manage our smallest restaurant. 12 tables. Late-night shifts. Where every customer matters because there aren't many customers. Victoria looked shocked. You want me to manage one small restaurant? I want you to learn what you forgot, Marcus said. I want you to see customers as people, not numbers. If you can't do that at one small place, you have no business running 35. He stood up. This isn't punishment. It's a chance to prove you can lead differently. Let me know by Friday. 3 days later, Victoria called. I'll stay. I'll learn. 3 months later, the Santa Monica restaurant reopened. Everything looked the same, but something felt different. The air felt lighter. A new feature had been added, a wall showing all customer reviews. The 5-star praise and the 1-star complaints side by side. Complete honesty. Revenue dropped at first. Some investors worried. But slowly something amazing happened. Customers who had sworn never to return started coming back. They told their friends. They left reviews about how different everything felt, how welcome they felt, no matter what they wore. Employee turnover dropped from 52% to 18%. People stopped quitting. They felt proud of where they worked. Victoria sent weekly reports from the small restaurant. Not about money, but about the customers she'd met, the conversations she'd had, the small moments that mattered. One autumn evening, Marcus visited the Santa Monica restaurant. No disguise this time. Just himself. Jenny from the small restaurant greeted him at the door. She'd been promoted. Good evening, Mr. Chun. Table for 1. She led him to a table by the window. The best seat in the house. Your server will be right with you, she said. And Mr. Chun? Thank you. For everything. Marcus looked around. The old couple had full water glasses and warm smiles. The young mother was being helped by a server who knelt down to make her baby laugh. The man in dusty work clothes was being offered dessert, treated with the same respect as everyone else. Marcus smiled. 15 years ago, he'd opened this restaurant with a simple dream. A place where everyone would be welcome. That dream had been broken, but he'd fixed it. And it was stronger than before. Because in the end, respect costs nothing. But losing it can cost everything.